Hello BookTube, this is a bookshelf tour. Bookcase 11, shelf 5. So we're making progress. We're going to start right off with another one of these Willard Sturt Randall biographies. This time it's a Benedict Arnold, Patriot and Trader. And this William Morrow and Company Incorporated, New York. It's 1990. It's illustrated. I have a fascination for Benedict Arnold. And lived well here in Vermont, in Lake Champlain. He had Battle of Valcour Island. Obviously fought in New York. He fought alongside Ethan Allen at Fort Ticonderoga, and he made an incredible march to Quebec through the Maine wilderness. That's quite an adventure to read, and that's what this next one does. Benedict Arnold's March to Quebec, 1775, Through the Howling Wilderness by Thomas A. Desjardins. And this is St. Martin's Press, New York, and it's copyright 2006. In September 1775, 1,100 soldiers boarded ships in Newburyport, bound for the Maine wilderness. They were American colonists who had volunteered for a secret mission to paddle and march nearly 200 miles through some of the wildest country in the colonies and seize the fortress city of Quebec, the last British stronghold in Canada. The march, under the command of Colonel Benedict Arnold, proved to be a tragic journey. What an amazing story that is. Then we have Benedict Arnold in the Company of Heroes, the lives of the extraordinary patriots who followed Arnold to Canada at the start of the American Revolution. This is by Arthur S. Lefkowitz. There's Mr. Lefkowitz with his friends. And they, let's see here, this is from 2012, published by Savis Beatty Limited in El Dorado Hills, California. It's got some pretty nice illustrations throughout. So, another study of Mr. Arnold. Then we have The Life and Adventures of John Ledyard, the man who dreamed of walking the world. It's called American Traveler, and it's by James Zug. And this is published in 2005 by Basic Books. And it's quite a fascinating story. So an early American travel book. An early American travel book where the American traveler is not traveling just here. He's traveling all over the world, which is pretty interesting. And then we have William Hoagland, The Whiskey Rebellion, George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, and the frontier rebels who challenge America's newfound sovereignty. And this was published in 2006. And if I can get the page open here. And it is Scribner's, New York. So, Tale of the Whiskey Rebellion. Then we have The Age of Federalism, the Early American Republic, 1788 to 1800 by Stanley Elkins and Eric McPatrick. This is a rather standard volume on the subject. This is Oxford University Press, 1993, New York. And we have sort of a beat-up volume. Alan W. Eckert, The Frontiersman, a Narrative. Immensely popular. Here's the end papers. There's quite a few in this series. I need to get more. Little Brown and Company out of Boston. This is the second printing in 1967. The frontiersmen were a remarkable breed of men. They were often rough and illiterate, sometimes brutal and vicious, often seeking an escape in the wilderness of mid-America from crimes committed back east. In the beautiful but deadly country which would one day come to be known as West Virginia, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois, more often than not, they left their bones to bleach beside forest paths or on the banks of the Ohio River, victims of Indians who claimed the vast virgin territory and strove to turn back the growing tide of whites. These frontiersmen are the subjects of Alan Eckert's remarkable dramatic history. Against the background of such names as George Rogers Clark, Daniel Boone, Arthur St. Clair, Anthony Wayne, Simon Girty, and William Henry Harrison, Eckert has recreated the life of one of America's most outstanding heroes, Simon Kenton. So, dramatic history. Then, here's an old one by a biographer and a historian you used to hear a lot of back in the day. I don't see much of his stuff around anymore. But this is the life of Andrew Jackson, the border captain, and Portrait of a President by Marquis James. Like I say, you would hear about James quite a bit back in the day. But Garden City Publishing Company, New York, and this edition is from 1940. Because it's a combination of a couple previous books he had done in the 30s. So it's just still holding together. See if I can show you some of these. Rachel Jackson. And then, more recent book, John Quincy Adams, American Visionary by Fred Kaplan. This one is Harper and Collins, 2014. So in this fresh and illuminating biography, Fred Kaplan brings into focus the dramatic life of John Quincy Adams, the little known and much misunderstood 6th President of the United States and the first son of John and Abigail Adams, and reveals how Adams' inspiring progressive vision guided his life and helped shape the course of America. A little dusty. And then finally, Undaunted Courage, Meriwether Lewis, Thomas Jefferson, and the Opening of American West by Stephen E. Ambrose, which I just recently picked up a copy. And that is Simon & Schuster, New York, and 1996. So there you go. That's the 5th shelf of the 11th bookcase. Again, American History. We really only have 2 more to go. So thank you, BookTube.